This is a story all about how I became a Jane Austen character for a weekend. Any of you who have been on this channel for any length of time might know that I'm a huge Jane Austen fan, and me and 6 other of my friends decided that this was the year that we would all go to the Jane Austen Festival together. Yes, there is a Jane Austen Festival in Bath every year, and turns out it's pretty freaking cool. Yes, it's costumed. Yes, there's a parade. Yes, there's a ball. One problem though, because also, if you're familiar with this channel, you might know that I'm on a year-long clothes buying ban, and that includes second-hand clothes. So I, weirdly, not being in the possession of a Regency style ball gown, needed to come up with one, and fast. So I grabbed this thrifted linen duvet that I've had for ages, and I grabbed a pattern that I realised was, unlike a lot of Regency garments at the time, super adjustable and had pockets, and I set to work. Okay, so last night I was a total carpet goblin, and I cut out all of the pieces that I essentially needed. So just the outside pieces, not the lining and not the pocket bags and stuff like that, because I don't have time to make a tulle, or whatever they call it. What do they call it? Like a muslin, like a mock-up. So I thought I would just cut out the bare bones boob bit and the skirt. The skirt is fine because it's gathered, so it will fit either way. Just cut out the front boob bit, and if it doesn't fit, I still do have a bit of extra fabric that I could use to cut it out in a different size. But if it does fit, then I can use my extra fabric as the lining and the pocket bags, and then it all matches. Do you see what I mean? But if it doesn't, I will work out something else, because I am smart and it'll be fine. So here's what's going on right now. We've got the sleeves, we've got the front of the bodice or the boob bit, we've got the side bodices and like the back panel, and then this is the dress, and then here is what's waiting should everything go to plan. It always goes to plan, it's fine. Let's play a game of why doesn't this look like this? I know I was tired last night, but like I cut around this last night and it felt right. And now it looks so wrong. Like it doesn't even vaguely match up. So I'm gonna have to cut that again, I guess, before I start. What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? Okay, we're at the critical stage now where we have to work out whether this is fitting or if we have to start again. You will see that the curve on this boob is actually one of the most curved seams I have ever sewed. And I actually have a little tool I made for that called a tailor's ham, which I can't find. Classic, you can't find something the first time you need to use it. And then in the corner of my eye, I spied my bat, which I made out of scrap fabric. So I thought I would abuse him and bend him around and iron the curved seam with that, because I really needed something to iron a curved seam on. You can't iron them flat, and unfortunately he was in the firing line. So let's all say a collective sorry and thank you to poor old Batty. Please don't call the RSPCA on me. Now I've put on my big girl bra for this, because I will be wearing it for the ball, because unfortunately Regency women like the girls to girls, and it makes me a little uncomfortable, but I'm also like here for the accuracy. So here we are. Here's how it's fitting, and while it is a little lopsided, I'm quite happy with that. That actually looks kind of perfectly snug, if I do say so myself. So what I'm going to do is cut this out again in the same fabric to use as the lining. But if I do it a little bit neater than this, then I'm just gonna switch them over because they're made out of the same fabric. So this is my do-over, this is my second chance to get it even better. Let's go. So it's currently 11 minutes past 7. Yes, I've got the Jabberwocky poem as my phone background because I'm trying to learn it, okay. You knew you were watching the channel of a cool person, don't act shocked. Last night, the sewing went well. I got the bodice sewn and interfaced. I got the lining made. Couldn't find my elastic to do the sleeves, so I was like, we're not going to waste time looking for it, we're just going to start on a different task. So I started doing the channels for the stretchy bit on the back of the bodice, and I ran out of thread, didn't I? It's fine. So today was a new day, and I stopped by my local haberdashery and I secured the bag when the bag is the correct colour thread. So while I don't feel like it and I kind of low-key have a headache going on, we are on a bit of a deadline. And unlike Jane Austen, I do not have any servants and I don't have a local seamstress. It's just me and that bastard machine, and we're gonna get this dress done if it kills me. Hello there, it's a new dawn, it's a new day, and I'm working on the same dress, but it's fine. I actually got up really early this morning and got on with it and got loads done. I didn't film a massive amount of that because I did it in my knickers. But here's some knee action if you want to see that. A few updates on what I worked on last night, mainly this. So this is the back piece of the dress that makes the dress really like adjustable and comfy. However, I have never done this before. It's not shearing, which is when you sew with elastic thread. It's basically a series of channels that you push elastic through, which is all very, very nice until you realize to do that you have to affix the elastic at one end, attach a safety pin to the end of the elastic, and then ease it through. Which again sounds really easy unless you let go of the elastic by accident or your safety pin comes undone, in which case that fucking elastic is entombed in there forever. That is never getting out. Tutankhamun elastic, she's in there for life. So I had a bit of a disaster with that. A few times I managed to rescue the elastic with a pair of very, very long tweezers that I imagine you don't have in your house. Why we have this medical tweezers is another story. But eventually I realized that the best thing to do was to actually attach a safety pin as well as a safety pin to each elastic, so if one fell off I still had another one that I could keep pulling through with. This has resulted in essentially me using up way more of the channels than the instructions ask for. For example, this channel is completely dead. RIP to her, we cannot reach her. So I filled in some of the channels I wasn't supposed to, just so that we could get the same amount of elasticity, even though we've lost some of the channels to the sands of time. It's given the same result, essentially. It doesn't look as neat as the pattern, but as a first go, I'm not gonna be too hard on myself. The thing I am gonna be hard on myself though is, when I went to go get the new thread yesterday after running out, I was halfway through sewing these channels. So this is the color that I wanted to replenish, and this is the color that I came home with. Can you see the difference? Does it bother you? Because it bothers me. God damn. As you can see, it's like way more visible on the fabric. But look, I don't have time for that kind of perfectionist shit. We've got to get on with it. Lesson learned, write down what kind of thread you buy when you start a project. Most of the stitching is on the inside of the garment now. So I think it's, I choose to be unbothered. All we've got to do now is connect the bodice and then sew up and attach the skirt, which is currently just 2 rectangles of fabric. What could possibly go wrong? Okay, you better be lucky that I'm willing to film, because I'm actually feeling incredibly vulnerable right now. Disaster has slightly struck, and this is by no mean feat a little small, and I think it's because I've literally got like another boob. Like, oh no, this is not good. I think this might be a fail. Oh, we're so far in. I know that the Regency way is boob, but this is just incredibly uncomfortable. I tell you what I think has happened. I think that I was very, very lax with losing space in the back. I made a lot of mistakes and I was like, well, it's stretchy, so I've got like room to spare, it's fine. But in all reality, I probably took out about 1.5 inches, if not 2 inches. And that is now showing. So we're just gonna try it without a bra and see if that improves things. And then like schedule the Menti B for after. Okay, panic over. I think we're just not gonna wear it with a bra, which isn't very Regency accurate. I'll give you that. I'll give you that. But it means that the chest flesh can be more evenly distributed throughout the dress, and now it feels way more comfy. A little formal, yes, but fine. I could wear this all day and not be mad at it. And actually let's focus on the positives. I really love the neckline shape. I think that's really, really cool, really, really flattering. I'm quite happy with some of the finishing under the arm, if I do say so myself. And this elastic is just like the perfect size. And the arm elastic is not pinching me. So those measurements are spot on. I suppose I could go into the side and add a little panel or even just like a little triangle here. But I actually think it's on the borderline of being fine without the bra for my tastes. I mean, I already have fucking massive tattoos, so we've given up on historical accuracy from the get-go anyway. And I'm just gonna say, for a first try, well done. Let's join the skirt up and see what we think. Okay, big reveal. Are you ready? Nailed it. This turned out way better than I thought it was going to, given how many mistakes I made. And I think that's due to like how nice the pattern is. Like, it's a really nice shape. And I think it's the perfect amount of flounce without being like too period inaccurate. Favorite part of the dress has to be the pockets, which feels like historical comeuppance for women not getting them in the past. Errors that are definitely there, but do not detract from how smug I am about this dress. There is a huge wonk going here because I didn't align the ruffle properly. Am I gonna unpick it? Absolutely not. Shortening the rouging on the back was obviously a massive own goal for my poor boobs. The situation round the breasticles does still look a little stretched, but I don't really care, and I don't think it's the first thing that you think when you look at this dress. I still have to hem the dress, and then I think we've got a ball to go to. Please enjoy this sumptuous footage of my absolutely raucous good time at the festival while I summarise this project in general. We went on a parade. That was really cool. People took pictures of us. I felt a little bit famous, a little bit self-conscious, but a little bit famous. I really felt like I was part of something. Although what I was part of, I wasn't sure, but it felt good. And then in the evening, we all attended the ball. They do teach you how to dance these dances at the ball. Everybody looked amazing. We got to dance with strangers and with each other. I accessorized my dress with a little tiara and some long gloves. And it was just a dream of a night. Like, look, I don't even know why I'm doing any audio commentary over this footage, because you can see how good it was. I am so happy with this dress. This dress pattern is called the Daphne Maxi dress, and it's so fun. So fun, in fact, that I have recently remade it in a more modern fabric, and I love it even more. So I could really recommend that pattern. I'll leave the links below. It's definitely like confident beginner friendly. Like, I still consider myself a confident beginner, and there aren't that many like complicated steps or anything. So I'm really grateful that that pattern was there, because I think if I wasn't doing this project, if I wasn't doing this thing I'm calling the year of make do, then I would have definitely either went out and bought a new dress, searched for something secondhand online, but the chances of it being my size and like my height and stuff would have been hard, or like tragically I wouldn't have gone. And all of those options sound not as good as what happened, which was me really personalizing the kind of Jane Austen dress that I pictured myself in. I didn't want like fancy fabrics. I really felt like I romanticized the most like the Keira Knightley Pride and Prejudice and the Becoming Jane, Anne Hathaway version of Jane, where she's wearing a lot of linens and stuff in the imagery. And I'm really happy that I was able to customize something that I was really comfortable in. I felt like I still fitted in with all the more strict historical LARPers, and I can definitely wear it again, right? I think I'd wear it again. I might shorten it a little bit, but I'm not sure. Let me know in the comments below whether you think I should shorten it so that I can wear it, or I should just try and style it out as it is. Maybe with a waistcoat, who can say? Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you want to keep bang up to date with what I am making, you can either follow me on Instagram, or even more immediate and intimate, on my Discord for my patrons, the Gumption Club. We have a whole wardrobe and makers thread where we're all constantly showing what we're making and giving little updates and getting tips from each other, and that's generally where I post all the stuff that I finish first. So if you want to see it, it's there. Links to join the Patreon are below. Thank you so much for watching. It is a truth universally acknowledged that when there is a frog, it must snog out.